Right, I kept seeing all these money saving tips online. They were everywhere. It was make your own coffee, bring your own lunch to work, don't buy this, don't buy that. And as a normal working family, we're trying to be a little bit smarter with our money. So I kept thinking, I kept wondering myself, do these tips actually work or not? So, me and my wife, we decided to pick 10 of them and try them out for 30 days to see what happened. And that is what this video is all about. Some of the tips worked really well and saved us loads of money. Some were okay, and others honestly made no difference whatsoever. So in this video, we're gonna be running through those 10 money saving tips that we tried and tested. So if you haven't met me yet, my name is Ian. I'm 36 years old. I'm a full-time working school teacher. And alongside that, I'm trying to juggle family life whilst raising my two boys, keeping on top of the house and paying all the bills like we all have to. And in the last year, I've become utterly obsessed with trying to improve my financial situation to benefit myself and my family. And what I found out in that last year is that a lot of money saving advice either assumes that you earn lots of money, which I simply don't, or you have a lot more time on your hands. So this video isn't theory. This video is literally me and my wife, how we've tested out those 10 money saving ideas to see if they actually survived a busy, normal family life for 30 days. So tip number one, you may have guessed it, easiest place to start is coffee. I read loads about this and listened to loads of podcasts and videos about saving money through coffee. So what we decided to do, instead of buying our coffee out, we decided to bust out the old flasks again and make our coffee at home and take it out with us. So luckily enough, we are super grateful that we live by a beach. However, it became a habit. Every weekend that we'd go to the beach, my wife and I would buy a coffee for ourselves. And I'm not gonna lie, I loved doing that. It was like a treat at the weekends for us. But when we worked it out, we'd actually spend about £36 a month just on takeaway coffees. However, after buying the coffee at a supermarket and chucking it in your flask, we actually were able to save £31 for the month. And that's £31 that we clearly would have wasted. Now, don't get me wrong, I do miss it. I did like the coffee at the local beach cafe, but to be honest with you, I actually love it drinking out of a flask now with my family. It saves me queuing up and it's just part of our routine now. So tip number one, 100% worked and saved us money. Number two that we tried then, it goes hand in hand with the coffee, and this one is making your own lunch. I busted out the lunchbox for the month just to see. Now, admittedly, I didn't buy lunch all the time. I'd go out to the local shop during my lunch break 2 days a week. However, I managed to save myself £37.22 for the month just by making my own lunch and bringing it in, which completely and utterly shocked me. The other great thing was that actually I no longer wasted 15 minutes of my lunch break by actually going to the local shop. So tip number two, bring your own lunch. It absolutely worked. Tip number three then, not gonna lie, it's gonna be a bit tricky for some people, but for us, we decided to walk and cycle as much as we can instead of driving. So in those 30 days, admittedly, we had to drive to places, and sometimes it's not always convenient to walk or to cycle. For example, doing the food shop, it wasn't convenient. But if we were going for a day out or to the beach, we decided to walk or cycle there. In addition, the massive one for me was I busted out the cycle helmet and I decided to cycle to work every day throughout that period. And it made a massive difference on our fuel consumption. And it actually made us, or allowed us to save £50 throughout that 30 days. Okay, that is unbelievable. So admittedly, it's not going to work for everyone, but for us, we got the massive benefit for it. And another positive, money aside, was actually, it was a lot quicker for me to cycle to work than it was actually to drive due to the rush hour traffic every single day. And I felt really good about it. It was free fitness as far as I was concerned. Right, number four, keep it on the theme of driving. When we did have to drive, because of course we had to, for example, going into town or when we went for a day out, we decided to try and reduce parking costs as much as possible. So I spent my time before we went out anywhere scanning Google Maps looking for free side roads that were nearby so that we could save on parking and park there. And it probably doesn't sound like much, but over the 30 days, we actually saved ourselves £15.80 purely by parking on side roads and not having to pay for car parks. So for that, it wasn't a lot, but it still added up to a saving, which was great. Number 5 then, this was a massive eye-opener for us, and this was shopping at a cheaper supermarket. So for years, I'd almost felt loyal to shopping at the same place, and it felt convenient, and to be honest with you, I just didn't want to change. However, it made a massive difference. We looked around, I'm not going to name names, but we found 2 other supermarkets which were a lot cheaper. We're in the UK for this, and it saved a massive amount. So per week, we were able to save £18.20, which when we added that up over that 30 days, that turned into £72.80, which for me, couldn't believe it. So we're going to be sticking with those other supermarkets that are clearly a lot cheaper than where we used to buy from. And number 6, while we're on the topic of supermarkets, we decided, whilst we were shopping in a cheaper supermarket, was to buy non-branded items. So we swapped out your main brands, which we'd bought for years, for cheaper alternatives. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell the difference. And the key thing was that my children couldn't tell the difference, which I was actually a little bit nervous about. They had no idea. So over the 30 days, look at my notes now, we saved £27.66 over that whole period, which again, probably doesn't sound like much, but this is all adding up. So for us, cheaper supermarket, own branded items was a winner. Tip number 7 is to cook from scratch and to batch cook. So we decided to swap out any ready meals or pre-prepared paid meals that we had, and we decided to cook everything from scratch. I'm going to be honest with you, I found it super tricky and I wasn't actually able to compare the cost of this. The actual working out the ingredients, it was a lot harder than I expected. So I actually haven't got a figure for this one, which is why I'm being completely honest. However, I do believe that over a prolonged period, it would help financially. The key thing, non-money orientated, was actually that I felt better about doing this, knowing that I'd cooked from scratch. And actually, where I batch cooked things, I had meals ready to go in the freezer. So when we rushed home from work and we picked the kids up from after school club, then we were able to quickly go in the freezer and get a meal that we had cooked out already. So in terms of that, it saved time. So for me, it's still a keeper, even though we haven't got any financial, I suppose, data behind it. Tip number 8 was actually buying food in bulk. So we looked at our food, pasta, rice, we bought it in massive bundles, which saved a lot of money per pack. We also bought cleaning products in bulk. And then finally, a bit odd me saying this, loo roll. We bought a massive box of loo roll online and the price difference per roll was insane. And now I couldn't help it, but I wanted to show you the size of the loo roll box that we got. That is massive and it worked out cheaper. So this is a keeper. So for this one, number 8, we worked out that we saved £22 per month just buying items in bulk, which is actually going to last a lot longer as well. So again, this one is an absolute winner. Right, so tip number 9, please don't hate me on this one, but this one was cutting back on alcohol. I'm going to be honest with you, we didn't stop completely, but we did reduce our alcohol consumption massively. I didn't go down the pub with any of my friends for that 30 days. My wife didn't go out to the pub or bars with her friends, and we didn't buy any alcohol from the supermarkets. We just had a little bit, whatever was left in the house. So cutting down alcohol massively helped. For us, it saved £30 for the month, and to be honest with you, I felt so much better as well. So for me, that's quite an important one I'm going to try to stick to. Tip number 10 then, this was my favorite one out of all of them, and that was free family days out. Now, we used to at least once a month go to an attraction or somewhere where we'd have to pay money for, but we were really conscious about where we were going and what we were doing. So we planned out to do everything for free within those 30 days. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I probably toured every play park in the whole of our area, but it was fun and the kids loved it. We also just went for cycles, picnics out, breakfast out on the beach, and we had a great time. And best of all, it didn't cost us anything. So this one was super important. And the thing that I really find important to reflect on is that if you go out every weekend and spend money, that adds up to a serious amount. We only stopped that one weekend out, which saved us that £22. So for us, we're now going to be really conscious every single month about what we're doing as a family and trying to do it for free. So over those 30 days, then one thing became really clear to me, and that is that it's not about a big change. It's about little small changes that build good habits. Those little small changes added up and actually helped us out massively financially for the month. Now, looking at my notes, when I added everything up, we actually were able to save £308.48 for the month, which for us is a massive amount of money. And the best part is it all felt practical. Nothing felt like we were sacrificing anything major. It was pretty easy to do, and these are habits that we're going to stick with. So if you've got a money saving tip that you'd like to share, please drop it in the comments below, as I am generally keen on trying so many more of these. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on them. And if you want to hear more real life practical ways to build better money habits, then check out my video on the screen now, which is where I talk you through how I was able to save £1,378 in literally 30 minutes. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.